Welcome back to 70 times 7, the platform where the dynamics of forgiveness is explored. I remember reading a long time ago while I was preparing for a marriage seminar, something that described the typical progression of two young people who fall in love. It said when we meet one another, it's like chemistry. You know, there's like electricity flying through your veins, you know. It's like, oof, you have so much of power, you can do anything. When you meet, it's like chemistry. Then after a while, it becomes biology. It becomes biology, and you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Now it's not chemical, now it's physiological, right? It becomes biology. Then after you get married, after a few years, what started off as chemistry evolved into biology, now becomes history.
God forbid that we should reach that stage.
Right? June, I want to find out, right? Because there are very many marriages which are on the verge of becoming historical museums. Their relationships are becoming history, or at that verge.
Yeah.
What can we say for those whose marriages are losing that spark? Can we attribute that loss to an unforgiving spirit? Is it fair to assume that?
Yeah, I think Harvard grudges and many other things that have happened in the past that have not been resolved tend to be issues that strain one's marriage. And therefore, I think it's important. And as I said before, God is the one who has given us this gift. We need to consult with him. But secondly, we need to look around as married people and see who are the role models that we can go to consult with so that they can help us to do that. But very often it stems from that resentment and grudges.
An unforgiving spirit.
Yes.
You remember I gave you an illustration the other show about that glass filled with water.
Yes.
And if the spouse is filled with up to the brim and the husband is filled up to the brim, what's going to happen? So each one must offload those grudges and unforgiving spirit and resentment and bitterness. Because if they don't do that, I mean, it's just a little spark and it explodes.
But the beauty is sometimes we have our glass full, Busi, and all that resentment, we pour it onto our spouses.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But here there is Christ.
Yeah.
Here
Who
there
says,
is
"Come
Christ,
unto me."
Who says, come unto me.
All you labor and are heavy laden.
Your cup is full of resentment
Yes.
and an unforgiving spirit
Yeah.
or whatever offenses may have been committed against you.
Yeah.
Christ says, come to me. Offload it onto me.
Yeah. You know, Paul, one thing that I've discovered as a married person is that sometimes when my wife and I have quarreled and maybe there's something that has upset me and I don't feel like forgiving her, you know, I think we shouldn't wait for that time where you say, now I'm feeling like forgiving her.
Yeah, that's true.
It will never come. I think you need to do it. It should be a principle. And I've discovered that if I take her by my hand and say, let's kneel down and pray, and we speak to the maker of this marriage, the manufacturer, man, it does something. So I think that's
like a
important.
miracle.
And the mistake that we make is that we want to wait for that opportunity to come. It will never present itself.
Yeah.
You
That's
know-
why it's a choice.
Yes.
You have to, it's a conscious decision that I want to be reconciled with my wife or with
Definitely.
my husband now.
Yeah.
You know, our marriages are so important. Right?
Very.
Our marriages is the foundation of our ministry. I've seen people who have miserable marriages, and it affects their work as well.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right? But those businessmen, those workers, you know, the pilot who is flying the plane that I'm going in, I don't want him to have a bad marriage. Because if he had an unforgiving
He'll take it
spouse
out on
and-
us.
He'll take it out on us. We don't
Exactly.
know when he will tip over
That's
Yeah.
true, eh?
and take us all to our watery grave.
But you know what's
It's a
sad?
bad thing, isn't it? Or if I'm going in a bus, Busi,
Yeah.
imagine the bus driver, while he's driving on the road, he says, you know, that woman there, when I go home, I'm going to sort her out. Hey, he's driving.
I'll do this to him.
And he says, no, the way I'm going to punch her. And he goes to the steering wheel like that, and we all...
And if somebody cuts you in that mood,
Yeah,
in that mood, and somebody cuts you on the road, if you have a gun, that's why road rage happen.
Yeah, it's true.
So, no, it's no doubt that an unforgiving spirit negatively affects our marriage. There's no doubt about it. I remember once sharing with a group of friends that our marriages is like crystal balls. Right? And in life, we have crystal balls and we have rubber balls, right? And with all the responsibilities that come our way, right? Some are, almost all of them are rubber balls. If we have to miss one of them, it will bounce back.
Yeah.
It's like a rubber ball, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
If you throw it on the ground, nothing happens to the
Yeah.
ball.
Yeah.
It just bounces up again.
You don't care.
And we don't care.
Yeah.
And you know what? Even if I cannot hold this rubber ball in my hand, if I throw it, you can pick it up.
Yeah,
Other
exactly.
responsibilities others can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's certain things that nobody else can fulfill that role.
But yourself.
Nobody can be a husband to my wife but
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody can be a wife to me but my wife Caroline.
Yeah,
true.
that's true.
So
yeah.
our marriages, we need to treat it as though it's a
a
crystal
crystal
ball.
With care, handle with care.
Care.
Yes,
Yeah.
it must be fragile written on it, you know.
Because
Handle with care. And it
breakable.
must be so fragile that we must not be willing to even entrust it into somebody else's hand,
Exactly.
You see,
except
Yeah.
God's hand.
I
Yeah.
think that's a critical point you're bringing up, Paul. We need to handle it with care because it's a gift to us in the first place. And very often we take marriage for granted. We say, I am the one who married this wife. I'll do what I like.
Yeah, yeah.
And therefore, that's the mistake we make. Another thing that I wanted to raise is that if husband and wife do not forgive each other, that has negative spin-offs for the offspring, for the children. Can you imagine what that does to the children? Many marriages are wrecked today. Many young people have lost interest in God and church and their families. The family concept is a foreign one to many young people because they've seen the spirit of unforgiveness in their home.
Yeah,
so,
you know,
so Paul, the forgiveness, when the crystal ball is dropping, forgiveness is catching it before it hits the ground.
Wow,
that's
a
it,
powerful
Jude.
concept.
That's
Yeah.
it. Now, when
Yeah.
because if our marriage, which is a crystal ball, falls, it's not going to bounce back.
Yeah.
It's going to shatter.
That's true,
And really, what happens at the end is when we talk about reconciling after hurting and the rest of it, we are actually bringing pieces together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You cannot
Right?
put.
And putting it together.
Yeah, no.
But we can prevent our marriages from falling, this precious crystal ball from hitting the concrete floor.
That's
We
right.
can prevent it if we just catch it.
Yeah.
And that
That is
safety net,
forgiveness.
that is forgiveness.
Yeah.
I want to appeal to you, dear friend, if you are married and you intend to be married, remember, marriage is fragile. It's God's gift to us. But because of its unique, fragile nature, it has the potential to break as soon as you let go of it. One of the ways to prevent our marriages from being destroyed is to catch it with a forgiving spirit.
Amen.
Forgive your spouses as Christ has forgiven you.